Welcome to the Cinephile and Hissy podcast, the tirade-filled movie debate podcast hosted by two film critics, cool dads, and struggling, tired teachers. I'm Don Shanahan.
I'm William Johnson.
We're new? Well, are we new anymore? I guess we can kind of be
Yeah.
semi-new. We're still semi-new.
Yeah,
We're new
semi-new.
and we're damn glad to have you. Folks, this is all for tantrum's sake, where shared passions and high fives wash away any place for hate. In the end, we encourage you all to love what you love. But for now, the gloves are off and the hissy fit is on. This week, we're talking about...
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, well, with that kind of enthusiasm compared to our last episode on the 1995 film...
Mortal Kombat!
I was hoping you get that.
I can't even do it with a straight
Can't hit it. All right. Anyway, this time after doing the 1995 episode last time, that one was recommended by Will. This one comes recommended and loved by me. Our format is this. The recommending lover goes first. I will be that person. I will get 5 uninterrupted minutes to shower my praise and state my high-minded case of why it's a 4-star out of 5-star film. The hater follows with 5 uninterrupted minutes of their own to present their counterpoints with any manner of intellectual and exhausting scorched earth. After that, we open it up for 15 minutes of shared conversation where the hissy fit really gets chippy. We hope you've got your judge's scorecard. We hope you got your EDM music, and we hope you have some caffeine because, folks, it's late. We're tired, but let's go. Will, you just got out of the movie tonight.
I did. I actually I went to the physical movie theater to go see this. I was really excited. I waited all day, told all the kids in class that I'm going to go see Mortal Kombat. I'm really excited. It would only be my second movie in a theater for the last 14 months or so. I previously saw Cherry.
Okay.
And all the available shows were sold out.
That's a good sign for a 25% capacity theater. Make that money.
Yeah, well, that's true. I didn't think about it in that context, but still, it was sold out, which was a bummer. So I went home and watched it on HBO Max instead, which I think, kind of like with Godzilla vs. Kong, you kind of lose a little bit of the,
I think so.
Power of it. But I still watched it. I literally got done with it about 25 minutes ago. So
nice. I saw this on Wednesday. I was invited for press. I was invited to a pair of possible screenings to see this. One of them would have been early in the day, like at noon on a Wednesday. The other one would have been last night, Thursday at 7:00. Couldn't make either one of them, so I too took the HBO Max route. I didn't quite brag to the kids I got to brag to the kids that I already saw it, which was cool enough. But I know that feeling as a teacher where you can kind of be like, "Hey kids, I'm going to go see this movie." They're like, "What?" I love it. All right. 5 minutes, huh?
Oh,
hey,
I just watched 110 minutes of this. So go ahead and
you can spare 5 and then 15.
Yeah.
You got this. All right, starting the timer, and here we go. So I'll admit that I was never. I think I'll say this and repeat myself a little bit from our last episode. I wasn't a gamer, really growing up. Had the basic Nintendo, played it for a little bit of time, but it wasn't a let's buy all the things and do all the things and be in front of the screen all the time. I'm a Gravel Road farm boy, so we were outside playing kids and all that. And so when Mortal Kombat came around and I was about, I'd be about 16 years old, it did look cool and it did sound cool. And I became that kid who goes to other friends' house and then kind of occasionally plays games. But of course, when I do that, I play video games against people who play video games all day. So I just get my ass handed to me all the time, which is, oh, come on, Don, I just go there and fail and lose. So when I, playing Mortal Kombat, if I didn't, put some quarters into an arcade or I didn't play it at a friend's house, I didn't know much about it. Didn't know the characters, didn't know any of that parts to it in 1995. And to this day, still kind of don't keep up with it and things like that. I know it from the movies and I know it from the water cooler. And when you add a few extra characters in this movie, I need my primers and I need my Wikipedia page lookups when I'm done. But man, I couldn't stop thinking about, while watching this movie, our discussion about the 1995 one and how much we both just enjoyed the practical effects, the cheese of it, so to speak, because it doesn't take itself too super seriously and was very entertaining because it was just well made. with what they could do and well loved with what they can make. And that I have to admit that kind of set the bar in a place that I wasn't sure what I was going to get coming into the new one. I was wondering if that was going to be a situation where we've seen Warner Brothers fuck this up before, where they just, whether it's a DC title and they put 10 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound bag, like when I say that about Batman versus Superman, or even just their tendencies with the MonsterVerse of just overstuffing things and overdoing it for overdoing its sake. And I was worried because I also avoided the trailers and was good about it. I knew the R rating was coming. And I tell you what, I came out of the movie really enjoying myself. Because I felt like if you're gonna take the cheese that's possible and you're gonna take the colorfulness and the characters that are possible and bring them to now, put that R rating on it, what would it look like? And it would just be a fun romp with a little extra gravitas because everything tries to get gravitas nowadays. And I was impressed. Those first 7 minutes of really kind of twisting the knife between what Scorpion and Sub-Zero can be, and you have some solid actors playing those parts, and you put it in a period setting, and the violence gets turned down right at the moment you get going. I that's that scored me. I was invested. I was sucked in. Is there still a lame middle sagging section of training montage and get to know you stuff and maybe over exposition of what these guys are going to face? Oh, certainly, for sure. But the fun part is you got a guy like Josh Lawson in there cracking jokes every 4 seconds to kind of break that mood of wacky forced gravitas and tension. And even on the side of that, you still have some heroes that instead of being complete pussies, really step up. And by the time they get to kind of throw down and show what they can do, there's chances where they throw down and show what they can do. At the same time, I was not bothered by, and it was one of our fears when we did the show again, was I was not bothered by the effects. And I thought, oh my gosh, here we go. This is gonna be just a Skybeam Suicide Squad style movie where they just throw every glowy thing they can for the sake of making something big, loud, and dumb. And I still see a good martial arts movie that just happens to have cool effects. I still see characters that can come out and still be colorful and interesting and different and threatening and have stakes, especially when you turn on the R-rated edge. And yeah, I got a compelling enough cheesy movie with good violence, good creative kills, good creative storylines, and simplicity to it. I thought they were going to really overdo this. I was worried they had too many characters, and I came away following every little bit they needed, enjoying the parts they had. Can I envision this maybe being done with higher pedigree and different people than what they've got? Because no one here's a super big star. Maybe, but maybe that then when that happens, all you see is the star and you don't see the fun of doing a good movie. And that's when it called back to 1995, where you have a movie made by just caring people who enjoy this material, get these characters, and push the most they can out of it. And just like that, that's my 5.
All right. Well, first off, it should be noted that in terms of the 7 majorly released films from Warner Brothers on this HBO Max deal,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Warner Brothers is a solid 1.5 out of 7.
Ooh.
Wonder Woman 1984, blah. The Little Things, blah. Tom and Jerry, blah. Zack Snyder's Justice League, blah. Godzilla vs. Kong, blah. Mortal Kombat, nyeh. The one I'm going to give a little break to is Judas and the Black Messiah. So there you go. We love that one. We talked about in our last Academy Awards
Mm-hmm.
podcast that we love that film. So that's the one Mortal Kombat I'm going to give a half. So don't call me a true hater. I'm not like a huge gamer. I played the original Mortal Kombat. That's about it. I love the original movie, which we talked about on a prior episode as well. Um, and yes, I do agree with you that one of our fears was that they would go overboard with the effects and the mythology and stuff like that. I was pleased that they did not do that. And in the first 10 minutes or so, I would say they actually did a phenomenal job of creating an ambiance, creating a tension, a mood. Um, First, I think, like you said, the first 7 minutes or so is set in Japan in the 17th century. Beautiful stuff, great imagery, a lot of tension, good fight work. And then I think when they introduce the kind of ho hum hero. He's really boring. Um, I'm not even gonna look up his name at this moment because I'm too tired to do it. But then they kind of show like Outworld, and they had a couple scenes in Outworld, and I was like, okay. They kind of show it as this kind of desolate, kind of terrible place, but it still has kind of a mood to it. And then they just abandon it. They never go back. Um, so actually, one thing that while I credit them for not going overboard, they actually went underboard. Is that a word? It's almost like I don't know how to describe this, but I feel like they were holding their cards so close to their chest that they didn't really reveal anything. Um, you know, you think about the villains of the piece. The actor who played Shang's son, um, I'm looking him up as we speak, but I thought he had a great presence, but he doesn't. His name is Chin Han,
Mm-hmm.
but you never get You never get like the rules of what he can do. You don't know what he is, and he really only just says, "Get them." Like he doesn't really have a character. Then all his little minions are interesting to look at, but they only have like one or two fight scenes to do. They kind of look cool a little bit, and then they just kind of they're kind of there to get wasted. So they didn't really develop any kind of tension with the characters. I remember the first film did a really good job of establishing um, Scorpion and Sub Zero, who were just kind of general villains in that, and Kano and stuff like that. They kind of established them as kind of these mysterious villains. Like they didn't explain it too much, but at the same time, they kind of had like a presence to them where you kind of felt like they were dangerous. Like we talked about in our Mortal Kombat episode that because of the practical effects of Goro, there was actually some kind of intimidation there. Like it's real, Like the Goro in this movie, not only is he only in it for about 4 minutes, but I was never terrified of him. I was never
Mm.
terrified. Now, I'm going to exclude this from the Scorpion and Sub Zero aspects of the film because pretty much any aspect with them in it was great. But I'm just talking about all the side characters. First of all, you have Louis Tan as this new made up character called Cole Young, who is as bland can be. Um, they had, the girl who plays Sonya Blade, Jessica McNamee, whatever her name is. I mean, she was okay. Josh Lawson, who played Kano, was like hilarious for the first like 2 minutes, and then that shtick got really old. All the characters seem very, very thin. I don't have any um, real need to see them succeed. So I guess to summarize real quick, I guess
Mm-hmm.
my main point is that if the film focused on Scorpion and Sub Zero as the first 7 minutes promised, I think the
Yeah.
film would be very powerful. But because it focuses on this lame dude who, well, we'll go into that, what his powers are and all that crap. But I just think the film is extremely underwhelming, underdeveloped, which is
I can
even
see what
worse
you
than
mean
I
by that.
feared.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that. I say that in my review on 25 Well that it kept it simple in a good way because I was worried it was going to be too busy. But I think there is such a thing as too simple, where
Yeah,
you've got
definitely.
these people who are there because of their looks, because of their moves, but
Mhm.
not a lot more is given to them. Now, if they're trying to flesh out a big old universe where this grows in time, great. And if that, that keeps this movie from being 2 hours and 45 minutes like a Zack Snyder film, and I was okay with that because I also wonder if there's a place where I'm not saying this is Spider-Man and I'm not saying this is Batman, but maybe this is, and I don't like using the term fan service either because I think that's a
Mhm.
lame overused term, just like nostalgia. But
Sure.
maybe there is a, hey, we trust our viewers to figure this out, that we don't need to spoon feed you every origin for every character you see on screen. I mean, I
Mhm.
know the origin they give the most of is clearly the Louis Tan's character of, oh god, I forgot his name already, just like you did. But like if that's the
Cole
guy,
Young.
yeah, Cole Young, the MMA fighter, right? So if that's the guy getting half an origin and a bit of a training angle, and we meet these other people and see their little intentions along the way and shifting allegiances, at least when you get to Kano, that's all right and plenty. But I'm with you. The more I can agree with you here, the more compelling, time honored characters that clearly have centuries of beef get a great 7, 8 minutes, and then it's just kind of hanging over them through whatever bloodlines they want to do the rest on. Where if they are trying to be simple and slow play this, truly slow play it, you're right. There's a movie there of just Sub Zero and just Scorpion that would slap, man.
Yeah, and I think now all the video game fans out there are going to kill me because I don't know all the names of the characters and I'm not
Mm,
going to remember them. But even in the simplistic storytelling, they didn't pay off anything. Like, for example,
you
so
got good guys
Sonya.
win. That's the
Well, I
best
know,
you're gonna
but
get,
so okay. So, for
Yeah.
example, in the first time when all the bad guys fight all the good guys, right?
Hmm.
Sonya fights my future ex-wife Melina, played by Sissy Stringer, who I don't care if her face is messed up. I think she's fine as hell. Um, so they set it up that Melina wins, kind of, sort of, like
Hmm.
basically has Sonya's life in her hands and says you're not worth it. And when the good guys make their plan to attack the people again later, even Sonya says like, "I'm gonna get the bitch with the fucked up teeth," right? And
Hmm.
and Cole's like, "Nope, you're gonna fight somebody that you have no connection with whatsoever." Um, well, actually, I shouldn't say that because it was Kano, but they don't really establish it as well as
Right.
they do in the first movie. But my point is that like there's a number of battles that happen in this film that have a narrative like punch to them. Like obviously, you
Hmm.
take the most basic one. You have Scorpion. At the time, his name is Hanzo Hasashi. He gets killed by uh, Bihan or Sub Zero in the
Hmm.
beginning, and then you
Right.
find out that Scorpion lived, and he's been living in hell for like centuries, like waiting for revenge. So when
Hmm.
they fight, there's actual, you know,
There's
tension
some,
and
yeah, build up there,
there's
sure.
some meat and some buildup. So even even in a small way, just using Sonya and Melina as an example, like even if you're not going to get a lot out of Sonya or a lot out of Melina, at least have the character arc of like, yeah, kind of like Rocky 3, like Mr. T
Mhm.
beats Rocky, then Rocky beats Mr. T.
Yeah.
Like, have like these through lines where it's like, okay, Melina gets to fight Sonya Blade, she gets her vengeance back. And they did this. I think the only one that they kind of did it with was Liu Kang and what was that dude's name?
The robotic guy,
Cabal.
Gabal, right.
Cabal, who is played by the voice, is the guy who played Charlie Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Uh,
So, little
figures you
connection there.
get a reference in there.
Yeah, but anyways, they kind of had them fighting each other and stuff, which is pretty interesting. But it doesn't only go just to the storytelling beats. It also goes to, like I said, there's a lot of stuff where you don't know what powers they have and they don't
Mhm.
explain it.
Right.
Um, there's a lot of situations where um, like character motivations just like I said, they have Sonya fight Kano at the end, but like in the first movie, they established with a simple line of dialogue that Kano's messed some shit up in Sonya's life. Like it's
Mhm.
something that happened off screen. Like in this one, it's just that they're kind of annoyed with each other. Jax and Sonya have this kind of. You're just supposed to think that they have this amazing chemistry with each other because
They're war
they
buddies,
were
right?
war buddies, but you only see a picture of them. And
Mhm.
even in the first film, they mention with the line of dialogue, and I think this is amazing that the first film is teaching this film 20 something
Right.
years later how to write a screenplay, which is amazing because the first, it's called Mortal Kombat and it's not exactly taken seriously, but in the first one there's just an off line by Shang Tsung. He's like, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, mortal enemies fighting for centuries. And you kind of get like, you just kind of feel it, like this one.
Mhm.
I'm not slamming the Sub-Zero Scorpion stuff here because that's the best parts of the film.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is that the other film showed you enough to establish the characters and what their powers are, and left enough mysterious. This one leaves everything mysterious to the point of incoherence, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
Like, tell me this: if you never saw the
Okay.
first film, right, and you're not a big gamer, right?
Right.
Okay, if you never saw the first film, how do you know what Shang Tsung is about?
Ooh, good question. I
Y-
mean, it's kind of villain villain casting and villain costuming and villain look 101. Like,
yeah,
I know he's the bad guy because he's on the ugly throne, on the ugly world, saying ugly things about the characters we've been taught to like so far. And that would be it. Whereas you're right, you have, I will eat your soul. You have Carrie having a great time in 1995.
and he
I think that's
transforms, he shape
right.
shifts in that movie, like in a small scene, so he has that
Yeah.
power.
It,
He
it's it's
sucks his
all it's
soul out.
all it's all wardrobe and background here, where that's so
Yes.
Shang Tsung to me does count as being underdeveloped to the point where he's there because he's big and he's there because he can eat some souls, and of course it makes for a special effect moment. But the true heavyweight is Sub Zero, and I do like that
Yeah.
Sub Zero is kind of that top lieutenant who comes out and just fucks everybody up.
Yep.
Takes Jax's arms, damn near kidnaps everybody possible. Like, I like that idea where, and it was a little swerve of, instead of seeing a true tournament, it's the scheming before the tournament in a way. And I'm not saying this is
Y-
gonna be the prequel to something bigger, but I do
Yeah.
like that, like, hey, let's not even do a competition movie. Let's just go out and fight each other. Let me go hunt you down. And
Well,
I didn't mind that extra edge.
I have a thing about that in a second. However, I
Go
want to
ahead.
summarize the underdeveloped thing with
Go
the
ahead.
movie's most egregious moment, in my opinion.
All right.
So, um, I believe the character is called Nitara. She's basically this chick with wings, right?
Right.
So, okay, so Shang Tsung basically like shows this chick off in one quick scene for like a minute. And he
Mhm.
shows like all these other people that he's basically, I think Shang Tsung hires all these like kind of what do you call them, mercenaries or something, because it's like a
Right.
random dude with a big like hammer,
Mhm.
and then that cabal
Yeah,
guy
the
who's like a
ball, right.
robot. And anyways, he shows off this girl. He's like, she is the mystical goddess Natara, da 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 da. And then you never see her again. And then she comes back, and literally when she swoops down to make her first attack, she gets sawed in half by this dude's hat, Kung Lao's hat. And it's a fantastic fatality. Don't get me wrong. Like, I
Yeah.
love the gore in it. It's great. But it feels so cheap because it's like, I mean, this person even worthy of such a spectacular death?
Mm.
Because she didn't even get a punch in. Like,
Yeah.
she just basically just flies into this dude's hat. And that to me is the
True.
thing. It's like, not even in these little battles, these little character moments, could they give these characters any kind of
I
agency,
see.
or
Sure.
you know what I
I see
mean?
what you mean.
It's
No,
just
I mean, I
yeah,
feel like there's enough now on the villain side. You're right. They're paper thin, and
yeah.
Goro is a disappointing waste of
Hmm.
a one stop shop in a small little encounter. Instead of really hyping him up as the standing champion in a tournament style fashion, the way they did in 1995. So to
Right,
have Goro just kind of be the one extra thug who's supposed to be way better than all the other thugs to go get
right.
Louis Tan's character. That was a wasted spot and wasted moment. Now, I know, and we're spoiler people here, but I
Yeah.
know they've kind of done the whole let's smoke them back into, sweep
Oh
up their
my
bodies and maybe they come back later, which
god.
will now be cheap because they're going to feel like fodder twice unless they add backstory on attempt number two. But no, the villain side is easily and admittedly very underserved with agency, stakes, backstory, unless you're Sub-Zero. And again, that's the best part of the movie. The heroes, I think, have enough shade, have enough agency, have enough reasons to go in there and do stuff. And because this is a good guys versus bad guys movie, and your one gray guy is Kano who flips sides, that was
Mhm.
enough just to keep the tension to have fun. I wasn't sitting there waiting for Kano to be the betrayer, but whenever it would come, it would be doing what it was, and it was all right.
I
I
actually thought I
I,
was
I had a
actually a little
low bar for this, and it
surprised.
was fine with me. You were
I was
surprised he
actually a little
switched?
surprised. Yeah, because
Yeah.
not that I going off the first movie where he's a bad guy from the beginning,
Hmm.
but I thought that they, and this might be a script issue, because I don't think it's a worthy twist that, like, I was sitting there going, "Oh my god, you fooled me." It
Right.
was more like they really built him up as a hero, and then
True.
kind of just were like, "Never mind." You know what I mean? It was like
Right.
it's a
Back
very
back to being.
strange thing.
Yeah.
And you take like Jax, like I didn't feel like his moment of whatever was earned. Like
Mm.
first he has little binky arms, and then he
Right.
grows big ones. Like there's just some kind of, it's like I said about the first film. Liu Kang in the first film, Robin Shao, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, he has like abilities,
Yeah.
but he gets knocked around sometimes, and then he does that fireball at the end of the first Mortal Kombat, like where it's
Hmm.
kind of earned, like he earns that power, like
Well, I mean, Raiden, to show off to the guy from Thor, but no, Raiden does kind of, give us the exposition that you're trying to find your Arcana, and
yeah,
it might as well be Chi, the Force, or a mutant power from X-Men. Like we've seen this, got to find your inner power trope 1,000 other different ways, and that's the only slow. I mean, that to me that counts as slow paying patience, where it's not fireball, fireball, fireball. So that helps a little bit, and it even helps that there's guys further advanced than the others. Like his two students, the hat guy and Liu Kang, can get up and go right away and fight.
right.
And to have our new four people figured out, again in a boring middle training montage, isn't super helpful. But it, I feel like that counts enough as slow played. Maybe not as slow played as 95, but enough that that's a place again where it wasn't created excessive.
Well, the biggest problem with that is that some things make no sense with that. What is it called? Arcana?
Yeah, it's a
Okay, so
cheesy term.
Kano gets it first,
With the
and
laser eye
they
thing, yeah.
have to fit it into his character from the game. So his
Mhm.
power is that he has a fucking laser eye. Like
Yeah.
that's so stupid.
It's very random.
Uh, like I like it in the first movie where he just has a plate with a red eye and you have no idea why, and it's kind of
Mhm.
cool that you don't know why.
Right.
This one is like, oh, his magic power that he unlocked in himself
Yeah,
is
after getting
a
scratched.
shooting beam eye,
Yeah.
which is really dumb. And then of course the one that is so silly is Jax, that he's
Mhm. The
got
one
these
you
little
explained,
dinky
yeah.
arms, so that his true power, are we to understand then, like let's say Sub Zero never broke the dude's arms off, that his true power would be that his arms would be replaced by these gigantic metal arms?
Oh gosh, the
You know what I
great
mean? Like
question.
it seemed so silly. Like it doesn't
Mhm.
make any sense. It's so circumstantial to the fact that he lost his arms. Like what was his
Right.
power going to be if he didn't? Like, you know what I mean?
Just bigger arms? Like, did the
Yeah,
guy
I
Brooks have to go
guess.
to the gym a little longer? Come on.
Now some of the
So,
stuff, some of the
yeah.
stuff I don't get. Do you
Mhm.
understand what Cole's power was?
With the sheath of bodily protection, but let me keep my face out because I look good on camera.
I
The turtleneck
guess.
the golden turtleneck of protection. I don't know, man.
Well, and
But no, like
a friend of mine on Facebook said like it, and this is what I thought too as I was watching it. Is it's almost like the Black Panther armor where it like absorbs
it
energy,
it
and
feels like
I
that.
was like, what the hell is this? Like I just didn't.
I did have to look that up in Wikipedia, and obviously because this comes from video games that have been out a long time, that predates whatever Coogler did a couple years ago in the movie. But of course, we don't know that, and it feels like a John Carter coming after Star Wars and Avatar moment, where John Carter's the thing that actually came first, but the other
Right.
movies that got to show their part off instead of the OG, so to speak. So
Well, I don't think it's a direct
nah,
ripoff.
like
I'm just saying I had no idea what the
yeah,
hell
yeah,
it
yeah.
was. I
But
still
it
don't know what
feels,
he does.
but no,
I
but
don't know
because
what
it's
Sonya does either.
underexplained. No, but because it's underexplained and under-earned, a first timer is going to go, "Oh, that's just a Wakanda armor thing." Look at
Oh, I
it's
see.
going to
I
feel
see.
like it's cheap copy no matter what.
Yeah, but I still, but that's the thing is they give Kano like this long
Yeah,
thing with his eyeball thing, but then
yeah,
like Sonya just like they kind of throw it on at the end. Oh, I've got beams now. You know, it was like, well, why does she
right.
have beams? Because like in some cases it's connected to who they are. In some cases it
Hmm.
has nothing to do with them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
really, really sketchy.
It is. I mean, and I'm not saying 95 is much better, and it's all fantastical bullshit because here we are in a glorified video game movie, which might as well be as bad as a comic book movie. In fact, and I'll call every
Very.
video game movie worse than a comic book movie because they have no plot. They have things you mash your buttons and do, and then that's it.
Yeah, you
So
better
to
tread
apply
carefully,
any kind of
sir.
story to this is like putting masking tape on something to even try. It's paper mache. So where it's got a crusty outside that attempts to have an outside, but you can smash it in 2 seconds. And here we are taking the sometimes inconsequential things and smashing it. The fun part for me though is I had fun. Like creative fights, creative
Mm.
kills. Good. I got a name drop while I can here, quick in closing. The stunt coordinator and fight department team of Kyle Gardner, Jay Demantia, Chan Griffin, and Anthony Rena. They worked on Aquaman and Shazam. They were. I thought that team and what they've fleshed out to kind of create very creative fights was really good. To kind of be I don't want to say an homage, but to match some of the potential, especially with today, where it would be really easy to green screen everything. I
Mm.
did like the unique practical sets. Nothing is eye
Yeah.
popping as 95 with the crazy color, but Sub Zero's frost coming in different places and the different physical locations they would try to kind of use or the sets they created were
Mm.
not too bad, and that was enough of a cool look and a cool bit of fun for me. And to throw all the buckets of blood was a massive improvement from where we could have been before. So
Yeah, yeah.
it gets the love for me.
I did not care for the fight scenes in this movie.
Oh,
I still like watching the fights from the first one because
yeah,
it seems more like a kung fu flick.
that's true.
The fights are shot in wider angles so you can see everything.
Hmm.
This has a lot of fast cutting. This one doesn't have like memorable moves. It does seem like everybody's kind of got their own fighting style, which I understand is how Mortal Kombat kind of works. Everyone has their
That's
own
true.
style, but
Right.
it's not aesthetically pleasing. I don't
Okay.
I can't recall, with the exception of Scorpion and Sub Zero.
Hmm.
I don't even remember. I just watched the movie half an hour ago. I don't
Yeah.
remember any of the stuff. My last thought, a name drop for
Yeah. Hit
me
it.
is there is an actor in this who plays Scorpion who's a really compelling looking guy. Like
Hmm.
he's just very compelling. He's got like a physicality to him. He's got an interesting look. Japanese actor Haruyuki Sanada.
Yeah, he's
Um,
fantastic.
he for Marvel fans out there, he was in the
Here,
Wolverine.
here comes the
Um,
show.
he was in the Wolverine, but he was also
Hmm.
in Avengers Endgame. He had a very small role when he faces Hawkeye slash Ronin
Right.
in Tokyo.
The
Um,
show.
he's he's
See,
also been in.
for me, he's the last samurai. He's back from '03 for me.
Oh,
So
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Last
yeah.
Samurai is great. He was in Lost. He was in Sunshine, which is a great film.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, he
Yeah, he's a
was.
solid resume.
He
That guy's
Yeah,
60 out there doing what he's doing
yeah.
too. So I'm
Oh yeah.
impressed by his age coming out there mixing up with the young kids.
Oh yeah. He's. I was looking at his resume. He made his first film appearance at the age of 5.
How about
So
that?
in 1965. So he's
Not
been
bad, not
acting for
bad.
literally 55 years. So,
Wow. All
no,
right.
but I really liked him.
That's where you
So,
land, huh?
yeah, so he salvages it a little bit for me if he was in it more than the first 10 and final 10 minutes. So I'm
Okay.
going to say this: the movie is excellent for the first 10 minutes, so so for the 90 minutes in between, and then good for the last 10 minutes. I actually cheered when uh, we got because it was earned when we got the
Hmm.
"Get Over Here" from Scorpion.
Oh yeah.
That was earned, so I love that. But anyway,
Okay. Okay. I'm learning more about you with every episode, Will. Earn it. Great. You're Captain John Miller from Saving Private Ryan. Can't wait for that episode.
yeah. Oh boy, I well that might be a double love. Do you love that movie?
That's a double love. Easily, easily.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
we're
how
going to
could you
sit here and
not
talk
like
about
that
earn
movie?
this.
I mean,
Oh, how could you not? Yeah.
Thin
Take
Red
my
Line
man
is
card
better,
right now.
but that's fine.
Thin Red Line is better? No, it is not. No, I don't need girlfriend letters at home, curtains and slow ass Sean Penn. No, thank you. I'll take Hit me with a Spielberg.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
All right. Close this up here, man.
All right. So follow us on Twitter at Cinephile Fits and on Facebook at Cinephile Hissy Fits Podcast. You can also find me and Don on Letterboxd. Letterboxd is like my favorite app in the world. I love updating it and having your stats and everything, but I create lists on there. Don's on there as well. So we got all kinds of fun stuff. So follow us there for sure. Have we so far in our episodes, I don't know if we've posted polls. I don't know if we have enough people listening to do a poll. Like that would break my heart if we posted a poll and like only my mom voted or something.
Right. Or we vote for each other. And that's it.
Or, yeah, exactly. So it's like a tie, but it's only like 2 votes. So I guess that's in flux. You may see a poll matching this episode for you to weigh in on who you think made the most compelling argument. Thank you so much for your captive audience and social media participation. We have a great time. We're gaining some followers. I like interacting with you guys on there. I like supporting other podcasts. So that's fun. Cinephile Hissy Fits, of course, is a 25YL media podcast. It is brought to you by ruminationsradionetwork.com. Please visit, rate, review, and subscribe. I think we have 1 rating and 1 review, so that's great. If you enjoyed the show, we definitely have more where that came from. We definitely plan, as soon as we get more established and we are less new, we take the new out of the intro. We plan on having guest hosts, and we will have someday. I'm putting it out there in the universe. We're going to have wonderful guests someday. Many wonderful guests, both people that are famous, people that are not famous, goddesses like Samantha Robinson, who will come on someday. I just know it. I'm putting it out there. Anyways, we're going to have that in the future, but all the stuff we have so far, I think we've got about, I don't know how much the episode's been released, but you can catch, 6 or 7 of them right now. All available on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere you find your favorite shows.
Thank you so much for joining us. Will, take care. See you next time.
Yeah, I'll see you later, my friend. Mortal Kombat.
Do you want more and amazing and awesome content just like this? Great shows with fun hosts? Do you want to indulge in some great discussion and rumination on a variety of topics? Join us at ruminationsradionetwork.com, the newest home to a diverse cast of podcasters and masterminds.